Well, let's get into our conversation. First conversation for today. The current economic outlook of Nigeria demands a collaborative effort from all stakeholders, both in the government and private sector, to create implementable policies that will positively impact the lives and livelihoods of Nigerians. In response to this need, a national rewards program is set to launch, which will reward consumers across Nigeria with guaranteed life-changing cash rewards when they purchase goods and services from Nigerian companies. The program, which is a tripartite relationship between the government, the people, and businesses, is aimed at creating a sustainable wealth redistribution program. Well, for more understanding of this, I'm joined by two gentlemen. First, Mr. Uade Aihime. He's the head of strategy and public affairs at NairaMetrics. And also we have Chief Lai Labode, CEO, CashToken Rewards Africa. Both joins us now. Thank you so much, Chief, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having us in the studio.
Yes, I just want us to, start. Maybe I think we should start from, Chief here. The public seems to be showing keen interest on this program. Can you explain to us what the National Reward Program means?
Okay, thank you very much. It is no news that these are such difficult times for Nigeria, and it's also very clear for keen observers who love the country to see that there are tremendous efforts from different angles that the government continues to make. But one of such efforts that we're very concerned with at this time is the partnership with the federal government through the National Regulatory through NLRC, okay, the National Lottery Regulatory Commission, under Mr. Lai Labode, to look at what the private sector has done for years, right, and see how we can bring that to partner with government to impact the lives of Nigerians. Now, let me say this. For the first time anywhere in Africa, and perhaps in the world, you're going to have what is called a national reward, meaning that as long as a Nigerian can make a purchase, they will be rewarded with what is called a Naija cash token, a Naija reward, a national reward. Meaning that those who impact the economy, whether you're rich or poor, as long as you're buying Nigerian, as long as you're patronizing the Nigerian business, you will get that reward. Now, what does that really mean? It is designed, one, to boost the Nigerian economy. That means there's something back for businesses. Two, to be able to do what is called wealth redistribution, where Nigerians can buy and get rewarded for it, right? And three, also to build what is called public emotional equity, where we have a little more harmony between the people, businesses, and government. Now, we're also able to expand the tax net and generate even more revenues for government. Right. This program between the National Lottery Regulatory Commission and CashToken Africa to establish this national reward is designed to bring in between 2.6 and 5.2 trillion naira in cash that goes directly back to the people. Money that we do not need to borrow. And I think that is genius. Imagine the amount of money we're talking about, and Nigeria doesn't need to borrow it. And you cannot get it except you're patronizing the Nigerian business. So it is really massive. Now, this national reward, what does it really mean? It means that when you patronize a business and you get what is called a Naija cash token, you will receive instantly in your national reward wallet. Every Nigerian will now carry one reward wallet for all businesses. You will receive 6 naira instantly in your wallet. And two, you get a ticket to a weekly national consumer draw, meaning that you don't have to gamble to get to win between 5,000 and 100 million naira that runs every week. And that is genius, and we think that that is one of the biggest things that will be happening this year from the government, the private sector, to the Nigerian people.
Okay, let me come to you, Mr. Aihime. So how do you think this will benefit, the people, business, and the government, especially when you talk about stimulating the economy?
Well, I do think it's going to stimulate the economy in the sense that more Nigerians will be spending more. And at the end of the day, they would spend less for more. What that means is you would have so much money turning around in terms of velocity, and then the prices of goods and all those things will start to reduce. And then you now start to have those wallets, those monies in your wallet for you to continually be able to spend on the things that you require. So at the end of the day, it will stimulate the economy. It will not only create opportunities for businesses to continue to increase their production, but also give opportunities to the consumers to continue to spend money towards ensuring that the economy is continually running and being oiled at every particular point in time.
Let me also follow up with this. I mean, let's get to know the size. I just want to know your analysis of the size of this program vis-a-vis the need to stimulate the economy, especially at this time. So what are the potentials like?
Well, so you heard Chief say 2.6 to 5.2 trillion in cash that goes back directly into the hands of consumers. And that's just one part of it that I see. Aside from that, there are other aspects of it that would create new possibilities within the economy as a whole, from the perspective of the producer, from the perspective of the consumer, even from the economy as a whole in terms of creating financial literacy, financial awareness, more monies into Nigerians' pocket for buying Nigeria, spending Nigeria, and patronizing Nigeria. So 2.6 to 5.2 trillion in cash is just one part. That's the cash element of it. And I'm sure if you remember last week when I was also speaking, what could be the other part of it, which is other new monies that are created aside from cash, which it could be a whole lot more.
It's all right. Let me get back to, Chief Ola. Well, talk to us about, you mentioned earlier that, of course, this is geared towards, empowering consumer in terms of bettering the economies of consumers and wealth distributions. Perhaps just talk to us about how do you see this program impacting everyday Nigerian? Because that's what people want to know. How does it impact me? How does it impact on my pocket?
So here's the good news, Nigerians. Imagine that for 5 years, the private sector has implemented this, and we have seen almost 20 billion cash go back to Nigerians. Not because they gambled, but because they patronized Nigerian businesses. I was reading the blog the other time, some reactions to my speech, and somebody said, some Ponzi scheme. How does big brands like MTN, Airtel, Glo, MasterCard do Ponzi schemes? What we're talking about is the reward for patronage. It's as simple as that. You patronize the Nigerian business, right, and you get rewarded for it. So we've done that for 5 years. So what the federal government has done through NLRC is basically to take that which has worked for 5 years at a time like this to make sure that every time you buy, not just a few 200 businesses that we have today from the private sector, but a policy where it touches all businesses. So imagine that you're a Nigerian today, you buy petrol, you buy food, you buy water, transportation, all of those things that you do. Every time you do that, imagine guaranteed cash into your wallet, your national reward wallet, and every time you also get a ticket into your national consumer draw. There's nothing better than that now, where you can have cash come back to you. Now, let me say this, and this is very instructive. In what we have done for 5 years, we have seen so many Nigerians across the country win money. There's a woman from Shagamu who won 10 million in Shagamu market specifically. She is able to expand her market. She's able to send her kids to school. The impact on the economy is huge. So we're talking about creation of about 500,000 new jobs because of this program itself. Now, you say, how did you arrive at the number 2.6 and 5.2 trillion? Nigeria is a $500 billion economy. Now, I want you to imagine that every time you patronize in that economy, even a paltry 10% of that as rewardable brings you that amount of money. So we're talking about a government who is making concerted effort, and the National Lottery Regulatory Commission taking a lead in that. It will be the first time where you have a single policy stroke, which we are working vigorously on. That also, Mr. Gbajabiamila Amila is working vigorously with the Ministry of Finance and the FRS now to ensure that it is also a business-friendly policy, where every time a business spends money buying the national reward for their customers, it becomes an allowable expense against their taxes. It is genius. It will make people love this government, and it will show that the government is thinking, because the true heroes of the economy are entrepreneurs. So a government who combines its efforts and that of the private sector to create policy is a winner. And I want to commend this administration for that big effort, and we're ready to make sure that other African countries come to learn how Nigeria actually turns things around. So Nigerians can expect a lot more from this government.
So this is more like the people first,
yes,
Nigeria first.
Nigeria first.
Okay, let me come to you, Mr. Aihime. This going through, the notes, I saw that businesses are supposed to be agents of government, to deliver reward to consumers across the state of the Federation. But let's talk about, cost-benefit analysis to determine the potential return on investment. For national reward, for this program. Talk to us about that.
So you heard Chief speak about the FIRS, which is the
right.
tax body.
That's right.
And then working as agents of government towards ensuring that these rewards can come back into the pockets of Nigerians. What then happens is that those costs that have been incurred in generating this production and for which these rewards come to play are tax deductible. And if you remember last week when I spoke extensively about the other side.
That's right.
Which is from the consumer side. Today I'll speak about the production side, meaning that as agents of government, those things become tax deductible, meaning that you have more monies to be able to go back to invest back into the business in terms of tax allowances, investment in new products, new research areas, and thereby continually expand the economy as a whole. Also, because of that reward and working with the organizations, what you then have is, because monies are not going to be paid directly in cash, and those are wallets, and those wallets are going to form those schemes. What then happens is that you get a pool of new consumers who have NINs, BVNs, and all those records are brought back into the system on behalf of the government. Like Chief said, expanding that tax net, both in the short and in the long term. So by and large, businesses are going to benefit from getting tax allowances from those costs.
Or like tax incentives?
Well, you can call them tax incentives because they are those costs are tax deductible. And then the consumer himself, not only is he getting reward, but he's also contributing back to the system by paying some form of taxes, whether it's withholding tax. And when you look at the scheme, whether it's withholding tax, VAT, and all would all come out from that system. So it's a whole wheel. And like I said last time, and I say it again, once it's properly oiled and continually being oiled every day, then the sky is the limit.
Let me get back to Chief again. I mean, the private sector, does have, the critical role of, building and sustaining economies. Talk to us about perhaps if there's a direct, benefit or cost, to the government for establishing the national reward program.
Okay, so let me put it this way. It's important to have a policy that is holistic. That means you've thought about each component of it. Now, first of all, the government gets increased revenue. So imagine that your good self, you have patronized the Nigerian business. That means you have helped the business grow. The business has taken a part of what it has earned to buy you a national reward, which it can take back from its taxes. You have won 10 million naira. Now, the business, the money that they have made, they have increased revenue. It means that government can tax it and get more money. So government gets increased revenue. You that you have won 10 million naira, there's also the income tax that you've actually paid. There's VAT that has gone on it. Government also gets that. So there's quite a bit of money that the government also makes from doing this policy. Two, it will have what is called unprecedented public emotional equity. Nigerians want money. And if you can do that in a sustainable way, not that you just borrow some money and just quickly share it, what the government is doing, the NLRC, is that it is sustainable because you have to buy Nigerian. The business is also set what is called a business threshold. So the government gets that. You expand the tax net, meaning that you reduce pressure on those who are currently paying. If you expand the tax net, that means you can actually release the pressure on people who are currently paying, which is what we need to do. Create more jobs, which is a big deal. So you find out that the government is actually taking what currently exists in law and use it to create a new program with the proposal that the National Lottery Regulatory Commission made to the federal government to establish this in partnership with the private sector. And we're very proud that Nigeria will become the first country anywhere in the world to establish a sustainable national reward for its residents, boost the economy, redistribute wealth, and build some public emotional equity for this government. This government needs it. People need to understand the effort of this government and understand that every time you patronize a Nigerian business, it can potentially change your life. It puts money in your wallet, and your wallet now is a single one for all businesses, and that is very much unprecedented.
Let's talk about challenges. I mean, we're going to wrap up. If you can make it quick,
okay.
Quick. Let's talk about challenges or risks associated with implementing these.
Okay.
How can they be mitigated? Quickly on that.
Okay, so the main thing is to ensure that Nigerians can easily see, luckily for this government, what I would have called the big risk is that if it was starting from the scratch. but it's been done for 5 years. We have tested it, it works. The MTNs of this world, and we must thank the likes of MTN who have continued to impact the lives of Nigerians, the likes of Airtel who have continued to impact the lives of Nigerians before the federal government even came in. So there's already a trajectory, and so it's a win-win for the government, and we expect that in the shortest possible time, we'll have a major launch that will have the president of the country present, that will have industry leaders present, captains of industry, and of course, we can build a new tripod relationship between government, businesses, and people. And this government will have unprecedented public emotional equity. You will be lauded for it.
Let me come to you, Mr. Uade. I mean, final question for you, and you have 1 minute to do that. I mean, let's talk about, I mean, if you look at the weaknesses, or there's no program that does not have weaknesses or strength, but compare these to, previous programs by, previous administrations. I mean, how would you describe it?
So
speak to that quickly before
quickly, and it's just in one sentence. This is going to get consumers to spend their way out of what you call economic dilemma. Because once you start to spend, the velocity of money increases. And what that means is that there's economic activity. And what that means is that businesses will continue to be able to see monies to expand and grow. And like Chief said, more employment possibilities, small businesses joining into these programs, and then it just continues. Unlike others where you say, oh, dash a man money. So this is teaching a man how to fish rather than giving him a fish.
Absolutely.
I think we should leave it there. Thank you so much. Mr. Uade Aihime is the Head Strategy and Public Affairs at NairaMetrics.
Thank you very much.
And we have Mr. Lai Labode, CEO CashToken Rewards Africa. Thank you so much for coming on Business Nigeria. You have a great day.